Good evening and welcome to the Bay City All Saints Cougars 2012-2013 preseason Roundball review. I'm your host, Jeff Doan, and over the course of the next few minutes, we are going to get in-depth and personal with the program of the Bay City All Saints Cougar basketball as it is evolving back at the start of a new generation of Cougar success. I am going to be pleased to bring the feature speaker for tonight, Bay City All Saint Cougar Head Coach TJ Newsham. He's in his second year with great excitement abounding about this program as they look towards the future and the future success of this program, taking it one small step at a time last year, one giant step at a time this year. So we'd like to welcome in our special guest for the evening, Coach TJ Newsham. Welcome, Coach. It is a pleasure to have you here with great excitement as we begin to talk about something that has really evolved wonderfully since the start that you took things over last year.
Jeff, let me tell you something. I want to just tell you thanks first off and appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to put a program like this together and give us an opportunity to talk about All Saints basketball, where we are, where we're going to be going, and of course all the obstacles that we've got to overcome as we put ourselves back in a position of success. And looking forward to telling the viewers and the listeners that we're back and we're ready to roll.
Let's start off by talking about your passion for the Cougars, which obviously started as a young child for you.
Well, growing up back in the early 80s, mid 80s, went St. Stan's. And St. Stan's, you were going to go to All Saints. You went to St. Stan's, you were a Stag. You went to All Saints, you were a Cougar. And the excitement that we had back in 5th grade, as soon as we could put on a uniform at St. Stan's, we knew where we were heading. And graduated in 1994. We had another successful season at All Saints. But once you're a Cougar, you're always a Cougar. And and even though you were at St. Stan's, you're part of that Catholic community and that Catholic pipeline that was on its way up to becoming an All Saint Cougar. So, ever since a young kid, all I knew was St. Stan's and All Saints, St. Stan's and All Saints, and there we are, and here we are today, 20 some odd years later, and now I get a chance to coach in my second season. So it's an exciting opportunity. It's exciting to be back and giving us a chance to take what I've learned over the years, and now we get to apply it to the next generation, which includes my kids.
Well, and when you look at this program, obviously very, very tradition-rich program, going way back into the 70s with the great run that Lefty Franz had and all the success that he has had. And you've had great success through this program. A few small bumps in the road over small segments of time over the years, but great tradition, and certainly the groundwork that you have laid for this 2012-13 campaign are great building blocks for the future of All Saints Cougar basketball.
Well, the past, it was 35, 40 years ago when we opened up at All Saints, and we had 2 state championship teams there in 74 and 75, and it's part of our history and part of our tradition to be a championship caliber program. And even throughout the 2000s, when Coach Showalter led this team to 6 districts, 3 regional championships, which are obviously equivalent to 3 quarterfinal appearances, knocking on the Breslin Center door, and taking over the program last year, we knew that we were laying the groundwork for year 2, year 3, year 4, and we're excited about where we're at today. We had a great summer, we had a great fall, we had a great couple of weeks of conditioning. Now we're ready to hit the season and see if the history, the tradition, the groundwork that's been laid is going to result in what we expect in terms of a successful season.
Looking at this club from last year to this year, TJ, obviously last year repetition was your thing. You were teaching. You guys as a coaching staff, your entire staff did a great job of patience with these kids, because, as you just said, your vision was to year 2, year 3, and year 4 with this program, knowing once you laid the groundwork for this program what was going to come. As you watch this team this summer, I think pleasantly surprised is at least a good expression for what you saw as these kids started to absorb and started to execute the things that they had been taught.
Exactly. I think the one thing about the offense, the one thing about our philosophy, it was different. We were throwing a lot of new things at kids who were used to a certain way, a certain style, a certain format, and we came in and we changed. Our staff, we made a lot of changes. And you know, we got through last year in terms of wins, losses. Obviously, it wasn't where anybody wants to be, and nobody could envision a season in terms of wins and losses when it doesn't amount to a lot of wins. And but we never changed. We never altered the course. We never thought as a staff that we were going to have to change what we were doing. We were just going to have to stay the course, stay the course, stay the course, and. Our season basically began as soon as districts ended. We had a phone call from one of our players who wanted to get back in the gym the next day. I mean, that's what we had going into the summer, where we were surprising to a lot of people who watched us during the regular season. We started having some success. The kids started getting the offense, started getting the cuts, started playing the defense, doing the things that we've been asking to do. And when they started getting it, it was one of those things that I don't know if it was a pleasantly surprised or if it was we were able to start seeing it come to fruition. And the best part is the players seen it. The players felt it. And when they see it and they feel it and they see the success that it's allowing them to have, they continue to do it. And it makes our jobs as coaches that much easier when they can have that success, that light bulb goes off. And all of a sudden we're enjoying games where we're competing, where we're winning some of these summer games, where we're competing with some of these Class A schools. And it just kept rolling over confidence-wise, and we started picking up more and more kids who wanted to be a part of that program.
Before we talk about your kids, take a minute and talk about your coaching staff, the importance of that staff, the experience that staff helps bring to the kids and to you as a head coach.
Well, you know, last year when I was hired in June of 2011, the first thing that had to happen, as it was our first year of my first year coaching varsity as a head coach, was to bring a staff of experience. And we went out and Mike Wisdala, Mike Debo, who were both former coaches here at All Saints back in the late 80s, both have a district championship to their resume. Both have been on the sidelines for many years, and I went after them and asked them if they would come back to the program. They both accepted, and having that level of experience, that level of coaching between the two of them, it's another 30 years of experience, you know, between assistant playing at the college level, assistant coaching at the different levels, and being a head coach. So things that may overwhelm a head coach the first year was very brought back down to earth by those two guys. Jeff Shapansky joined our staff, and Jeff obviously was one of the greatest players in the history of All Saints, and was our last player obviously to receive a scholarship Division I. And he's taken on a role of really getting to work with the players, getting an opportunity to get inside with the players, and give the players somebody to bounce ideas off of. And you know, Jeff's been a great addition because he relates so well with the kids. You know, and at our lower levels, PJ Villano, Matt Feinauer, and Jeff Ligney have all given up much of their time. And you know, the best part about having Jeff Ligney, for example, is Jeff Ligney, you know, coached college basketball at Saginaw Valley, played here at All Saints, so he has a passion for what we're doing, the direction that we're going. Matt Feinauer has been involved with the Holy Family, and obviously has a passion for the Catholic system. And then PJ Villano's been, you know, his couple kids graduated a few years ago, 6'6" twins, and has been in the program. So people we've got in the program are people who want to be here, people who plan to be here, and want to see this program continue to rise to the success that we know that we're capable of.
Looking at your roster for the 2012-13 season, obviously you had a lot of kids last year that learned a lot. The confidence that it brings to this club this year is going to be very, very exciting to see from game one of this season. The major transformation of this program. It will almost be a night and day difference from last year, based on the fact that your kids don't have to think the game anymore. They can play the game, and you saw that as this summer went on, that they were able to see, to anticipate, to move without the ball, to put themselves in a position to receive the ball, finish once they had the opportunity, because so often last year, in positions to make plays, but finishing was one of those problems, and that was another stepping process that I think you saw great progress in this summer.
Yeah, finishing games, finishing plays was something that we needed to work on. And the thing about the summer is we had, out of the 34 games we played, we only had 3 games that were decided by 10 points or more. So there was a great opportunity for us to play and compete in games that were 1 and 2 possessions. Getting our guys to think one play ahead is where we want to be. Right now I think we're about a quarter of a play, a half a play. Last year we were about a quarter of a play, half play behind, and that would result in turnover. And it'll be a night and day difference. Our juniors that are now seniors have that year under their belt. They start to see things. They start to understand things. When I'm talking about not staring down the play and to see the play, they're understanding that I'm not talking about the present play. I'm talking about the next one. The same thing on defense with the anticipation of the passes. We want these guys to start playing and lose the thinking, because as we think, the slower we get. So if we're thinking, we're slow, and if we're slow, we're not going to be able to execute. And so as those little things through the summer, as those little things through the early fall, through the open gyms, and then we got the individual workouts, we started really seeing that play, where they're seeing it. I had referees come up and tell me that after they got done officiating our game, just how much improved we were on certain parts. And that was one of the key things, was seeing the play. And when we limit our turnovers last year, we were always in a game, we were always competing. It was when we were that half a play to a full play behind is when we were in trouble.
Well, and I think playing a complete game is the other thing that this team is grasping, that last year you guys in stretches played like gangbusters, but you would always seem to find at least a stretch in the game where things didn't go according to plan, and you would be in a ball game and then you'd blink and you'd be down 15 in a ball game, and then you have to change the way you coach the game. As I'm trying to say officiate, because I also officiate, but think the game, because now you're not playing possession to possession, you're trying to get it back to 10, get it back to 5 or 6, instead of playing those meaningful possessions to maintain a lead or expand on a lead.
Right, and you're exactly right. And we would be in situations, and we've been watching a lot of film getting ready for this season, watching a lot of our first couple of games, first couple of opponents this year. We've been watching their film and watching our guys, and even though we know what's coming, it's still, what are you, where are you at? And all of a sudden we're trying to shoot a 13-point shot, which, you and I both know don't exist. But when a kid looks up at the scoreboard and they see, oh man, we were just up by 4 or down by 11, I need to make this shot, and if I shoot it from this distance, it's going to count for more points. I mean, getting the kids just to relax and go back to that possession and understanding how important possessions are. When you average 30-plus turnovers a game, that's 30-plus shots that you're not getting, and that's one of the big improvements that we will be making this year from last is getting shot, getting opportunities, and not having to put ourselves into those holes. And we've had a couple of games this summer, and that's summer basketball, and I don't want to put a lot of weight onto it, but there were a couple of times where the opponent would stretch a 6-point lead to a 12-point lead, and as a staff we sat back and we want to see how they would react, and next thing you know, we're down by 3. And so we started feeling more and more comfortable as a staff, saying, hey, these guys are getting it. It didn't happen in year 1, it didn't happen in the first season, but a summer later we're getting it. And that's going to be the thing for us to get ready for as we start this season, is can we continue to get it? Can we continue to get these kids to understand what it is that they need to do to be successful in the situation and the position that we as a coaching staff are putting them in?
Now, how exciting is it going to be this year to start across your front line 6'9", 6'7", and 6'7"? That's something that you haven't had the oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I was on the wrong roster page. Obviously, looking for Bay City to mass produce kids that are in that 6'7" to 6'9" range hasn't happened a lot lately. So it allows you to make the most. You've got a lot of kids that are in that 6'1", 6'2" range. So, you don't have that aircraft carrier, but your kids that are in that 6'2" range obviously have got great athletic ability, play well without the ball. And obviously, from the times that I've watched these kids and I've officiated these games through the summer and through the early fall, they know how to finish around the basket.
Well, it's funny. Last year we had 13 players, and we had only 2 kids from last year's team could touch the rim. This year, during a conditioning drill, we were having the kids get up and touch the rim, and we had, out of the 12 varsity players, 10 of them, only 2 of them weren't touching the rim. So all the way up and down, from our 5'9" guy to our 6'2" guy, we've got guys who are getting up and showing us flashes of what we can utilize them for, because we know that if they're up there touching 10 feet, then when they're doing the rebounding and when they're allowing themselves to fundamentally be sound on defense, what we can expect out of them. No longer can we expect a kid to jump 3'2" when he's getting the rim. So, it's going to come back down to the fundamentals of rebounding, the proper positioning, to techniques, so on and so forth, for us to utilize these kids to the best. We're not going to be, like I said, 6'6", 6'7". Most of the teams in our league do carry 1 or 2 guys that are 6'5" to 6'7", and we're going to have to run, and we're going to have to play our style of basketball and not get stuck in a situation where we're playing half-court defense, playing behind 6'9" in the post, and with 6'1". So, the way that we're wanting to play, the way that we're anticipating that we're going to be able to play and dictating the pace, utilizing our speed, utilizing our stamina, our conditioning, and our ability to finish are all key parts of what's going to carry us over. And I'm excited. Our backcourt, potentially, I've got a freshman, a couple of sophomores, and then a couple of seniors in there. There's going to be times where we're on the court where we're going to be very young, yet confident. It's not putting kids out there that we don't feel a lot of being ready and a lot of confidence. And so they're going to be fun to watch.
Who has stepped up on this club to take the leadership role, to lead by example?
We've got, our leadership comes in a couple different ways. Number one is the vocal. Our sophomore, Josh Dorian, is returning for his second year. We brought him up after about 5 games on JV last year. And one of the things about Josh is he's like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps going, he rebounds the ball, he never stops, he's always positive, and he's very vocal. We've got seniors who are leading by example, not the vocal type. Not the vocal players. They're not going to be the ones who are going to be demanding necessarily, or getting into another player's face when they got to get that player motivated. But they lead by example. Aaron Villano spent a lot of time shooting. Brandon Anikowski spent a lot of time on his player development, on his individual development. And I'm looking for those guys to continue that and be basically a leader by example. And I'm looking at Josh being a vocal. And I'm also looking at Trey Newsham and Justin Bates. They're going to be handling the ball. And if you're going to be a point guard for basically All Saints, you're going to be vocal. So where they lack right now in that vocal leadership between those two, by December, I am looking forward to those guys to be very, very improved on their vocal leadership, especially at the point guard position.
Looking at this club this year, TJ, obviously clubs early on in the season are going to think, this is the same club we saw last year. It's almost going to put a smile on your face just to see the reaction from your first few opponents as they notice what great progress this team has made. Their ability to compete and finish ball games are going to be something that you hoped and you strived for last year, but just didn't. They didn't have that basketball mental maturity to finish. But I think you found that solution this year, and I think you found a formula to set these kids up for the success that they deserve and that I think that they will attain.
Yeah, you're right. I think the big thing for us is to come out and continue to play at the level of play that we show that we're capable of. That's going to be the key thing. We open up with John Glenn. We open up the second game with Harbor Beach, Ubley, 3 teams who who defeated us last year. And, you know, I can't imagine us bringing a lot of attention to ourselves. I think we're going to be able to sneak into this season under the radar and just play a certain style of basketball that's going to give us a chance to be competitive, give us a chance to do what we need to do to keep the game close, to be competitive, and to see where the end result from there. I mean, all we got to do is go out there and play. You know, we can't worry about things that are outside of our control. We can't worry about who we're playing. All we can do is our staff get the players ready. Players go out there and execute. And, you know, honestly, if they can do those things, we will be closer to our end goal, which is to the journey to March. And that's where we want to be playing, you know, our best basketball. And, you know, getting through these first couple of games, this whoever did our schedule is took a scheduling hint from Tom Izzo, and we put definitely our guys through the gauntlet of a non-conference schedule. So we feel that's going to prepare us for the conference, and then our conference will prepare us for the districts, and you know, hopefully from there we'll be able to continually climb toward our end goal, which is championships.
Well, pretty safe to say what you've heard in the last 20 minutes or so. If it doesn't get you fired up, then you better check your ticker, because excitement abounds at Bay City All Saints. Cougar basketball is back. It's only going to get better, and it's up to you now to come and check it out to see exactly what it's all about, because I'm excited about it, and I see where they've gone from last year to this year. It is just going to be fun. All the activities that you do, TJ, all the special nights that you do help promote this great atmosphere, which makes high school basketball the special game that it is.
Oh, I tell you, we had great crowds last year. We had great turnouts. We had kids who haven't been back to, or not kids, but older gentlemen who haven't been back to games since they were kids. They came out and supported our different causes. You know, and we've got several more lined up this year, between our Coaches versus Cancer, between our, we're going shoeless again. We got a Hawaiian night in there where we're raising funds. It's a good way to use our basketball event as an opportunity to help out the less fortunate. And at the end of the day, you know, people are going to be able to come watch a good basketball team, a good basketball game, be able to help out, you know, somebody in this community that needs help. And, you know, for me, that's what it's about. It's about using our opportunity, our event, to assist others.
Well, it's been indeed a pleasure to sit down with you for a few minutes to get a flavoring for what the season is all about. I am fired up about the possibilities with this club, with you, your coaching staff, your kids, the excitement in the community. It's something. It's Cougar fever, and you better catch it, because it's coming right at you. Thanks for being with us tonight. Have a great night.